Got the chick, I call it Lola. She feel like the ocean, like to drink and smoke some Doja.
Even though Sony's next iteration of the PlayStation console is still years away, thanks to statements from industry insiders, analysts, as well as Sony executives, we can already get an idea of what PS5 is going to be and when it's coming out. So, let us dive into it. Before we start though, let's answer a question which is quite essential when it comes to this topic. Is there even going to be a PlayStation 5? Has it been confirmed or at least hinted at by Sony? Or is all of this based entirely on rumors and speculation? Well, Sony used to be pretty restrained when talking about its future plans, with comments like these made by the president of Sony Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida. It's really up to the game creators. If they still feel that we need more machine power, there's a good reason to have a PS5, so the developers can create their vision. So, we'll see. That was a quote from a few years ago. However, more recently, Sony seems to be a bit more open about its next big thing. In July of 2017, Sean Layden, the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment America, was asked whether there would be a PS5, to which he replied, yes, but it will be some time. There you have it, the PlayStation 5 has pretty much been confirmed by Layden, but that shouldn't really be to anyone's surprise. The PlayStation 4 is still selling like hotcakes, and it's on its way to become one of the best-selling video game consoles of all time. Therefore, the decision not to make a PS5 would appear to be a little strange, to say the least. So yes, it sure looks like the PlayStation 5 is going to happen, thus let's move on to all the specific details and information about the system, starting off with the release date. When we take a look at release dates of the previous PlayStations, we can see that the average gap between the consoles is approximately 6 years long. Now, since the PS4 came out in November of 2013, that would put the PS5 somewhere around the fall of 2019. This is obviously just a simple prediction based on the past, but as a matter of fact, Michael Pachter, a well-known industry analyst, also believes it is 2019. Thus, so far, it looks like the most likely release window for the PlayStation 5 is indeed fall 2019. In spite of this, you might have heard about the rumor which suggested that it would actually come out a year earlier, in 2018. Even though this information came from kind of a reliable source, we'll ignore it because it seems highly unlikely Sony would release its next console barely 2 years after the launch of PlayStation 4 Pro. In fact, PS4 Pro is the reason why many believe PS5 will launch as late as 2020, and we wouldn't be too surprised if that ended up being the case, but we will stick with late 2019 as our prediction for now. Before we proceed to talking about the actual hardware of PlayStation 5, there's something that should be addressed. We've mentioned the PS4 Pro a few times already. It was Sony's first mid-cycle upgrade, and it has been quite a success for them. There's been a lot of talk going on about the end of console generations as we know them, and the beginning of iPhone-like upgrade cycles. This indeed seems to be the approach Microsoft is taking with the Xbox One X. However, Sony has made it very clear that their thinking is different, and that PlayStation gamers do not need to be worried about being forced to buy a new console every 2 years or so. Mark Cerny, the architect of PlayStation consoles, said that the PS4 Pro is not intended to blur the lines between console generations, and in addition, Sean Layden confirmed that they are staying true to quote-unquote normal console cycles and that the smartphone-style upgrade approach will not take over. This again just reconfirms that we are going to see a PS5 sooner or later. But what hardware will it rock? By 2019, 4K TVs will certainly have gone mainstream, hence PS5 will naturally support games in native 4K. As a matter of fact, The Xbox One X already supports native 4K, and so does the PS4 Pro to some extent. For those reasons, 4K gaming on PS5 is simply a given. But what else do we know about the guts of PlayStation 5? Well, just like the current lineup of PlayStation consoles, it's likely to feature a chipset by AMD. In fact, AMD has already been rumored to be working on a chipset for PlayStation 5, which is reportedly 5 times more powerful than the Jaguar APU that can be found in the PlayStation 4. Additionally, it's set to support backwards compatibility with PS4 and PS4 Pro software, and it is supposedly focused on virtual reality as well. On top of the AMD APU, the PlayStation 5 will rock 16 or 32 GB of RAM and a hard drive or hopefully an SSD drive. What about an optical drive though? Will a 4K Blu-ray drive also be included? Well, with digital sales rising and the usability of streaming services like PS Now increasing, it is questionable. Nonetheless, we believe that an optical drive of some sorts will stick around for one more generation due to backwards compatibility with the PS4, as well as the fact that Sony made such a huge emphasis on the traditional methods of sharing physical games when revealing the PlayStation 4.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
If we don't count the infamous Virtual Boy released by Nintendo over 2 decades ago, Sony has been the first console manufacturer to put out a virtual reality headset thanks to the PlayStation VR. It was released in October of 2016 and it has proven to be quite a success for the Japanese tech giant, with over 1 million units sold in just a few months. As it was already mentioned, the AMD APU, which is likely to be inside the PS5, is being designed to work well with VR. Thus, it seems like Sony is planning to continue supporting virtual reality. The current PSVR headset already lags behind its competition though, since it only features one Full HD display for both eyes, while with HTC Vive and Oculus Rift, each eye gets its own 1080 by 1200 pixel display. So the PSVR headset is likely to get upgraded with higher resolution displays, and hopefully we'll get rid of that external black box as well.
I'm gonna find, and I'm gonna kill every last one of them.
This video has been packed with information, so let's sum it all up. It can be said with certainty that Sony is working on a PS5, which should be unveiled sometime before fall of 2019. In addition to the next generation console, we are also likely to see an updated VR headset with high-resolution displays. In the console itself, we'll probably find an AMD APU 5 times more powerful than the one in PS4, accompanied by 16 or 32 gigs of fast RAM, as well as an optical drive, and we hope that all of this will be packed in one fancy-looking black box gamers will be proud to show off in their living rooms. So, what do you think about the PlayStation 5 and the future of video game consoles? Make sure to leave a comment down below and like, subscribe, and share the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.
I'm done.